Clothes, fuck with got blood on your clothes. I don't remember the lyrics to that. Hey, was crack a lacking. Welcome to the Meaningful Jackson Show. You know what's crazy? For the listeners that are viewing on Track Talk Radio, they are listening to an old Lil Wayne cut called Blooded. Oh my God, it's a classic record. And so I was trying to remember the lyrics to that. But I haven't heard that song in so damn long that I can't remember the lyrics. But it's a classic record off some mixtape. I forget which one it is. Jeez, man, I'm terrible. So I apologize to Lil Wayne for not remembering what mixtape that record is on. Hey, shout out to Big Baby Jonathan, first one in the comments. Yo, my man beat me to it. My whole thing is I like to put first in the comments. I missed it today. But thank you for tuning in, John. Shout out to you, man. Hope your show has been going well. Or shows. I don't know. I feel like I see my man recording and broadcasting live every damn night, man, because he's lit. He's turning up. Did I swear on everything too? I seen him in a chat with Ron Artest, with Dwight Howard. My man is talking to all of these people, man, and that's because his show is lit. So if you hadn't heard, you need to check out my man's podcast, especially if you are a Laker fan. Here, we are Laker fans. And when I say we, I mean my crazy multiple personalities. And a lot of my friends are Laker fans too. So we have a lot of people in the Seattle area that are really loyal to the Lakers. So we are broadcasting from the Seattle area and we are repping Lakers strong. So John, Big Baby Jonathan, he has a great podcast. Always talking about Lakers, but also entertaining other sports and, other things about sports. So, it's not one of those things that's just dry and coming from one point of view and only, caring about one team. My man knows his stuff. So shout out to you, John. Thank you for being a fan of the show, my guy. Salute. I think we might have Priscilla calling. I ain't gonna lie to you though, fam. I have talked to her several times today, I feel like, but I didn't actually ask her if she was planning to call in tonight. So she might just call in because I know she was maybe planning to, but we got a lot to talk about. And one of the things we will probably spend some time discussing, especially if Priscilla calls, is a video that Steph sent me today. And I'm sure she sent it to me. She sent it to the rest of our crew and all of our friends. But this video does involve the dirty draws. And for those of you who haven't watched our past few episodes, the dirty draws is the name that we gave this thing that put us in this current situation because we were reported for talking about it. Because they don't want people talking about this whole, this virus thing because they don't want people spreading wrong information. Now, all I'm planning to do is recap this video that is coming from a woman who is allegedly representing a friend of hers who is a travel nurse that went to New York City to lend a helping hand. So shout out to all of our healthcare workers. So we're going to get into this video because some of the things I heard today were very interesting. Some of it, if true, was not a surprise, especially based on this letter that Priscilla and I continue to reference. And then some of the stuff that she was saying almost sounded a little bit crazy. But I don't know, man. And I think it only sounds crazy because in reality, I hope that what is happening is not actually happening. But we're going to find out. So hopefully we'll have Priscilla call in and we can talk about this because I'm sure she's seen this video, or we'll have, I'm sure Steph will arrive in the chat at some point and she can kind of give us some, some context about the video. Oh, I'm looking back at the chat. Yo, shout out to Big Baby Jonathan talking about my Bills. We did okay in the draft. And if you guys tune in to my podcast tomorrow called Starters on the Bench, I'm going to get all in to the Buffalo Bills draft. And I'm going to tell you what I think because I'm somebody who is very critical of my team and the decisions that they make. But I feel like our ownership is got us on the right track. I like some of the moves that we're making, and I'm not going to lie to you. I hope we do bring in Cam Newton for a quarterback competition. I hope he beats out Josh Allen for the job, because when Josh Allen tried to do that NFL street bullshit at the end of that playoff game, that pissed me off, bro. I've been waiting for my team to go to the playoffs and actually potentially win a playoff game. Literally, I feel like since 1999 or something. And you know how we lost then, because we lost to Tennessee when they did that bullshit miracle crap and was throwing it back and forth behind the line of scrimmage, and then Buddy ended up running in for a touchdown. Yeah, that was against us. You're talking about the team who went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost every single one of them. We're one of the worst teams in America. Ugh, disgust me. So our team is finally getting good. And so I'm going to have a lot to say about it, but that can wait till tomorrow. So today we are going to talk about this video that I was sent. And it's very interesting. So we'll get into that. And like I said, it's basically some lady who's representing her nurse friend who is choosing to remain anonymous, and she's speaking on her behalf. It looks like she's reading this off of an email. And so I think she says something like she's reading direct statements from her friend or something. Maybe I made that up. I don't know. She looks like she's at least referencing something. So she has notes that she's reading. I'm going to intro this show on Track Talk Radio, and then we're going to get into it. Get money. Okay. Let me stop this. I have rap bangers banging today. So shout out to you if you're listening on Track Talk Radio. This is the Meanquil Jackson Show. I don't know. It's probably at least it's one of the top 2 shows of all time on the radio and just in the history of entertainment, probably. I feel like I've heard that from somebody. Specifically about my show. I probably heard it from me, but I'm going to go with it. So we're at least top 2 shows of all time in the history of entertainment. That's what we've been told. So thank you for tuning in. I was just telling the YouTube viewers that I have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight. One of the things we're going to talk about is some crazy ass video that Stephanie sent me. But prior to that, I was talking about the Buffalo Bills and how, if you guys want to hear me give my take on how my team did in the draft, be sure to tune in live on Twitch from 6 to 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Starters on the Bench podcast. That's my new show. Check that shit out. It's lit. But anyway, man, this is the last day of April. But it doesn't matter, because we're just into like whatever the next day of quarantine is. So it doesn't matter that now officially at midnight, which, depending on where you at, could be shortly or could even be now, the Justin Timberlake memes go into full effect for the next month. And that's typical every year. It's May, so, it's got to be May. Those memes will be all over the place. So be on the lookout for those, which is going to be super repetitive. I'm going to try to make sure that is done immediately as one of the meme kings of Earth. I will try to put a stop to that. But we're going into May. We're in day 10,000 of quarantine. Life is starting to feel really normal. I wish I had like dirt and dust or like war paint on my face or something. Hey, shout out to Markel, who's a fan of the show. Already just sent me a Justin Timberlake meme. Like I said, it's lit. But I wish like I was like doing like a, kind of like a whole Castaway type of setup where I look really scruffy and disheveled, and like I'm doing like a video where it's like, this could be my last thing. Like, I just want to tell my family that, I'm making it. I don't know what day it is, because, I've barely eaten enough fruit snacks, and like I haven't had all the pizza that I can desire, and like, I've been banned from Facebook, so I don't know how much longer I'm gonna make it. These are my last words. Like, please take care of my Xbox. And then, I think at one point about 10 years ago, I signed up to send kids money in Africa. I don't know who's really been still paying that bill. Please check up on that. If it's more than $100, forward the debt to, the IRS. Let Donald Trump take care of it. I don't have no money on me. Let's see. I don't know what else to say. At one point, I feel like before quarantine is over, I'm probably going to do a video like that. So that was just a little preview of like kind of where I'm at. So, tomorrow's going to be May. It's day 10,000 of quarantine. I still haven't played basketball. I know I don't look it, but this is some of the dustiest I've ever felt in my life. And you know what? I'm lucky that my beard is saving me right now because this thing looks immaculate. Ladies, drink it in. My beard looks great. And it's the only thing that keeps me from wanting to like shave a big arrow into my head and do something crazy because my hair is the worst that it's ever been. It's nappy as hell. James, bro, where are you? James, please pull up. I need a haircut. But we're not trying to get James sent to prison. I hear they're giving out fines if they find out people are doing haircuts and providing services and all that type of shit when they're not supposed to. Quarantine really sucks. So I hope you guys are surviving that shit. Thank you for tuning into the show. You know what? Let's go ahead and call Priscilla. Let's see what she is doing. If she don't answer, then obviously we're going to hang up and then we're just going to get back into it. But I want to get into this video first, and I want you guys to hear about it. So that way we can find out early if the show is going to get cut off for the night. So let's call her real quick. And then we'll turn up. Look at that speaker lighting up, looking like a damn lava lamp. I love it. Let me sip my tea while I'm on break. You know what I need to do in the coming weeks is do some prank calls. So listen, if you're in the chat and you have some good ideas on places you would like me to do prank calls, send me the information, send me the reason why you want to prank call them. I'm going to hang that up. And then I will do it. I'll write a whole script. We'll come up with like a whole routine. And like I said, this is going to be like a lot of radio stations where they do that type of shit, but my shit will actually be funny. So like I said, if you have some places you want me to do prank calls, just because that's how boring this quarantine shit is, let me know and I'm willing to do it because I'm here for the laughs. Oh, snap. All right. Priscilla's going through a minor crisis. She'll be with us shortly, potentially. But either way, let's get into this show, man. Okay, so we will skip over that video for now. But I did want to revisit a story that I did the other day where we talked about how there's a video where this white cop is beating up this, what looks to be a small teen who is a person of color, black person. I don't know, however we refer to him. Or her. I can't even tell if it was a girl or a boy. I think it was a boy. Really long hair. The video that I saw is very quick, but you see the cop trying to get Buddy to comply. It doesn't seem like Buddy's doing what he wants, and so he starts punching the shit out of him. It was made clear that the person being assaulted in the video was 14 years old. Obviously, this cop has some issues. Hopefully he's on his way to getting that worked out, or hopefully he's been stomped out in a county jail after he's been arrested for an assault. I don't know if that's true, but I'm hoping that it is, because after seeing that video, that's what I wanted for him. I wanted him to get stomped out. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. So it looks like the police have gone in and they have opened up an investigation on the dude. Now, I've done stories like this previously, and I've talked about how I do not get excited when you hear, well, they've opened up an investigation, or even when an arrest has been made, because you see what can happen. We saw with, what was her name? Amber Geiger. She went into a person's apartment, and this person, rest in peace, Mr. Botham Jean. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but I always say Jean. My guy ended up dying because this lady walked into his apartment and killed him. And then she cried on the stand. She was convicted, and then they found a way to get her out of prison. So, like, it doesn't really matter when you hear open up an investigation or like they've taken certain steps. Like, until you actually see them go to prison, or, we hear about them on their execution night, which does not ever happen. None of this shit really matters. But I'm highlighting it because it is a story we talked about the other night. And I thought for our listeners, it would be important for them to know that at least we can look at this as minor progress. Hopefully the people that he works for do the right thing, and they understand that the person they have walking or in the ride in the car, walking the beat on those shifts, that's not somebody that they need to have out there, because Buddy doesn't have a lot of self-restraint. I mean, bro, you're on tape literally beating up a small child. Like, reminds me of when Voldemort, who I like to refer to as just Mort, because I think Mort is a little bitch. Mort is this cop is a little bitch. And the whole time he's just trying to beat up on a small child. You know, it's crazy. When I really started to think of that movie like that, I was like, bro, really? Bro, what is you mad for? Like, you trying to beat up on a small kid. That's what I want to ask this cop. Like, bro, why were you having such a hard day? Dick not getting hard no more? Wife don't want to sleep with you? Your side chick left you, maybe? I know times is hard out here. You know, and maybe what's crazy? Maybe his stress is that he has to be stuck at home with his wife. And maybe police department stopped giving out overtime, so he has less reasons to be away. And when he has to go home to her, and maybe the food is not as good, maybe when he, and obviously he's not getting laid. I mean, you guys saw the video. You saw him. You guys saw it, right? He's not getting laid. But maybe lack of good food, lack of sex. My man shows up to the job tense. I get it. It happens to the best of us. I mean, not me. I mean, yeah, me sometimes, but I don't get to the point where I'm so deprived of some of these things that I want to beat up children. I'll say that. For some of these men, and it seems to be white men especially, this happens all too often. And maybe, just maybe, these guys need to experience better food, better sleep habits, more sexual activity, and maybe they wouldn't walk around always being assholes. I feel like that's a fair thing to say. Men are simple creatures, because for the life of me, I can't understand why men want to beat up on kids and women. Why do they want to do that? And those guys are bitches. Obviously, they probably can't be helped. But some of you, if you are stressed and you're struggling, you're having problems, these things that I name kind of take care of that. Do that more often, and then you won't be upset, and you can go to work and you can have a good day. Because there's no reason whatsoever that you should be wanting to punch a 14-year-old. I feel like there's nothing that a kid can do or say to me that would get me to the point where I would want to put hands on him. And I tell you that, and that's coming from a guy who's literally been punched in the face by a 16-year-old at a basketball tournament because the kids started fighting on the court. And since I worked there, I was responsible with breaking the fight up. And the only thing you can do is look at a kid and go, yo, my man, what are you doing? You're crazy. And I'm somebody that I react very unfavorably when I get hit. But a small child? Nah, man. Because kids don't know what the hell they're doing. Yeah, little man might have been mouthing off or maybe not doing the right thing when you're asking him to comply, and then maybe he's not doing something that you want. I get it. But like punching the kid while you're trying to handcuff him. And shout out to Lil Man, but I mean, he looks like he's very small and frail. Like, I don't know, man. Cops are weird. All right, let me get off my little soapbox for that. I did see something that was super weird. Now, I don't know who this person is because I don't watch a lot of reality TV, but there is, also looking back at the chat, shout out to Carrie who has joined the chat, another fan of the show. Thank you for tuning in. I don't know who some of these people are that I see on the internet. Some of these stories, they pop up in front of my face and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And so I guess there's a person who has a Twitter by the name of Clarence NYC. I'm assuming he's some reality star. He must be on one of these like Love and Hip Hop shows or like one of the tattoo shows. I don't know. One of these shows where they exploit black people and get them to act wild and crazy on the internet, and then we like make fun of their lives, and then they go on a show, they pretend to fight each other and all that type of stuff. I'm assuming that he's on one of these shows, or maybe he does something else. I don't know. But he had some really weird tweets that we saw the other day, and I guess the internet decided that they were not a fan of him commenting on his son, who is a small child. He posted a tweet, and you know what? Let me go to the saved ones. I want to read it because even though we're not here to be nasty, some of this is funny, but some of it is also like, yo, my man, you have crossed the line. So his tweet just says, "My son is packing." Eggplant emoji. "I'm so proud of him." Praying hands, which I think is like a high five, but a lot of people think it's the praying hands. I don't know. When you type certain phrases that imply like, thank you or I'm blessed or something, like that fucking thing pops up, but people swear it's a high five. I don't think when people type thank you, I don't know, maybe it does work. Anyway, let's not talk about the emoji situation. Either way, this guy is talking about his son's dick on Twitter. He's proud of what he has created. Maybe he wanted to be an artist, and this is as close as he thinks he'll ever get. But he put this on Twitter, which is strange because you have these shows or whatever it is that you do to generate your income. And now you probably will have people questioning if you're a good fit for what you do because you're on here talking about kids' dicks. I mean, I know you're a kid, but I also don't know if I would want to put that on the internet. Now, I guess there's a nice lady, which I would assume maybe is his boo or something. They have a little picture off to the side with them hugged up. Very nice. You guys look great. She has come in for the rescue. She said, "Let me make this clear. This tweet was wrong." Okay, thank you. Sometimes we put things on social media that doesn't represent who we are. That's why he deleted it. But if you think that this man sits at home and lusts after his own child, you were wrong and reacting too far. One of two. I wonder if did she put that, or does Twitter do that for you? I don't really know how to operate Twitter that well, so I'm always curious when people have their tweets like perfectly done up like that. Like, do you put one of two? I need to start adding that, or is that something that comes equipped? You have to get to like a certain status before Twitter gives you some of these like user friendly. I don't fucking know. Anyway. Part 2 says, "You are wrong and reaching far. A pedophile is someone attracted to children, and y'all not gonna sit up here." I shouldn't have done that. "Y'all not gonna sit up here and act like he's attracted to his own damn son. No, it was not the best thing to tweet, but raise your hand if you never tweeted or said anything dumb." Exactly. So carry on. Listen, I was doing the voice because like the thing was eloquently and perfectly typed until that sentence, which I could tell in that moment when she typed it, she probably was getting fired up because she's probably watching the comments go crazy because he was talking about his son's dick. Again, it's just as a weird thing. I feel like it's weird. I know it's your kid, but it's still weird. I don't know, but at the same time, it's his fucking Twitter, I guess, I don't know if I'd want to. I know some of these people are able to build a fan base overnight just by a project that they may have that gets promoted by the right people. But I feel like if you've taken the time to develop your following via the internet, also knowing that you've seen how people can lose it overnight with one tweet, maybe talking and phrasing it. Let me remind you, he phrased it as, "My son is packing," eggplant emoji. Knowing that people can lose it all with one tweet, restaurants can fold from one bad Yelp review, like things like that. Unless you're making it clear that your social medias they're set to I don't give a fuck mode, you can't type shit like this. That could be bad for you. So, like I said, I don't know who these people are, but I just thought this was interesting that somebody famous, I guess he's famous. He has one of those little blue stickers next to his name. Is it a check? Is it a sticker? I don't know what it is. It kind of reminds me of like, so this is what I feel like being on Twitter. It reminds me of like, when you was at school, when you were young and like they had the sticker chart. And so, like all the good popular kids and the kids whose parents donate money to the school, they always seem to get the good stickers. And then like me and my niggas was in the back always getting like red. And so when I don't have one of these stickers next to my name, so I just assume that until I start like earning my keep that I'm one of these little badass kids don't have a shit together. But you know what's weird is they be letting the weirdos have the blue checks too. I don't really know what goes into that, how they pick that. But yeah, Clarence, don't don't talk about your son's package, bro. He's too young for that. You're gonna be all right though. Like I said, a little bit weird, but you're gonna be all right. Shout out to whoever's in my neighborhood rolling down the street dumping. You know what I'm saying? There are some people that piss me off because now that I'm getting older, and I used to do this when I was young. People can vouch for me. I was the guy who had, well, my first car was like an 85 Grand Marquis, that gray with a big ass dent in the side. That motherfucker barely worked. But I had the 215 Rockford Fosgates in the back dumping. Like I said, I didn't really have a lot of gas money because I was always broke as hell, but the car was bumping. But now that I'm in my 30s, I never thought I'd be saying this. Life is very different when you're 18 versus how it is when you're 30. And so obviously now when I hear niggas rolling down the street at 1 o'clock in the morning bumping, like, and I'm probably in my robe, I almost want to go outside and shake my fist. And then I have to be like, no, because nigga, you not that damn old. It's just loud as hell. My ears are just sensitive. I'm not old. My ears are just a little sensitive. That's all. Probably from all the years I was bumping. You know what I'm saying? I've been bumping. But anyway, whoever that asshole is that keeps driving down my fucking street all the time, bumping at 1 a.m., I'm tired of that. If you ever watch the show, just so you know, I don't know who it is, just in case he's big or something. But I'm gonna let you know I'm not very happy now that I'm getting kind of, my ears are sensitive. That's all. Anyway, Tekashi 6ix9ine, he's at a prison now, which is super weird. And I'm honestly, I feel like at one point or another, I made a bet with somebody saying that I didn't think he'd last more than a couple days when he got out of prison. I feel like I owe somebody some money now because I think he's been out for like 2 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. Maybe it's not that long, but it looks like he's been granted permission to shoot a music video in his backyard because I'm sure he's just on home confinement. So let's see. Says da 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 da. Looks like last week he had asked the judge in his case for permission to shoot a music video. Let's see. I guess they're saying it will happen. The rapper will be able to conduct employment-related activities outside of the residence, but within the confines of the rented property. Yeah, I mean, okay. Did he have new music? I didn't know he had new music. I've heard some of his older music, and none of that shit was good. I guess I'm just confused how's he able to come back? Like, it really is. I know there's like a whole culture of these young kids that they love people like this. Cause I feel like I went away from listening to the radio for a few years and I was just deep into my, I stole a lot of songs off LimeWire and Napster and shit like that. That's how fucking old I am. But I feel like I missed when all of like it was just like Lil Wayne, right? And then when I came back to it, then there was like 36 Lils. I just assumed that these were all of the children that Wayne had over the years, and that they all just wanted to have a different variation of his name. And then I found out some of these people are white, so they must not be his children. I guess none of them are. These are just other rappers who come from random parts of our country, and then they all rap about like doing Xanax in the bathroom after a prom or something. I don't know what they do. It's weird to me though. But like, I guess Teriyaki 6ix9ine is one of these people that like people love. I heard one of his songs. I will say the beat slapped, but I didn't remember any of the lyrics. I don't remember if there were even lyrics on it. It might have just been a beat and maybe his name was on it. I remember there was yelling and screaming. I do remember that. So there was a part of me that thought it was metal. So I gathered that he is Is he a metal rapper, like hardcore metal meets gangster rap, and then like it's this fucking guy. And I get it. He definitely has an appeal. I saw a video where it says he has the number 69 tattooed on him 69 times. That just seems like an interesting investment. Because tattoos, I have a handful of tattoos, about 13 tattoos. They are all an investment. But it'd be interesting if someone's like, how many tattoos, do you have? And you're like, yeah, 2036. Like, whoa, why so many? I'm like, well, my name is 6ix9ine. I got this tatted on me 69 times, and then I got a tattoo of 6ix9ine, and then inside of that, there's a bunch of 69. So like if you count them up, and then all these other ones, and that's just another thing of a 6 and a 9. Like that just seems weird to me. So, and I think he has a big tattoo on his forehead, which I get it. There's like a whole thing with appeal and all that, but a backyard music video. That sounds like it probably could be lit. I'm sure he has the right people around him. I know he came home to a deal. So shout out to him for finessing a deal from behind bars. You gotta really have what somebody wants for them to still give you an opportunity when, one, you're a little snitch bitch, and then two, you're in prison and you're not good. This is not like when Tupac went to jail, or it's not like when Wayne went to jail, or like, you remember when T.I. went to prison? Like, a lot of us were really devastated, but a lot of us were also really like, yo, you know what? It's cool, because when Tip come home, he gonna be nice. And when he came back, he was fire. He was fire before, fire when he came home. Wayne, same thing. This guy, I don't know. I really just don't know. But he's gonna do a music video, so I'm interested to see. If maybe he's just inviting people from Instagram. Maybe I'll pull up, man. Maybe if I'm invited, he probably would not want to invite me after seeing this. I always have a tendency to refer to him as Teriyaki 6ix9ine. I think I call him that. But I'm also extremely hungry, so my man, don't take offense. I was going back and forth all day today on whether or not I wanted to order teriyaki, and I haven't yet, and I haven't eaten since earlier this afternoon, so my brain is a little bit fried. So my bad for referring to you as the food that I'm probably going to have for dinner. Pause. I'm not talking about him as something that I'm going to eat for dinner. That's fucking weird. I'm talking about teriyaki, like Chinese food. I'm planning on having that for dinner, but because I used the joke where I call it, it's a whole thing. You guys get it. Anyway, you want to talk about something weird. So I see this story where there's a college professor who has now lost his job. And you want to know why he lost his job? Because this fucking goof, excuse my language, Buddy's teaching his class remotely. And so, let me start by saying this. You guys know how when we've had nasty conversations on this show about like adult material, and I always make the comment of like phone only. And it's for this reason right here that I'm about to speak about. So Buddy's a college professor. He's now been fired after the students are able to spot an open porn page on one of the tabs on his computer because he was sharing his screen. So he has the lessons queued up, but then also and they actually show it. They showed it on the video. So I'm going to let the video play, and then I'm going to read it off to you so we can just get a glimpse of what Buddy was into. Their teacher is this really weird age, and it says busty college girl. That's all you can see on the tab. But this is your college professor. Now, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's his preference. We get it. But, bro, you're teaching college courses. You shouldn't have that up, because now people are going to get the impression that maybe you're probably creeping on some of your students, maybe, and blah, blah, blah. And you know how some of these girls are so desperate to get attention. They're going to be like, see, the girl in the video that he was watching kind of looks like me. I could have been next. And you know what's crazy? He's probably just weird enough to where all their thoughts and those little things probably are real. So I know that those thoughts and feelings are real because guys like this probably are creeps. But also, he could have just been a guy who accidentally goofed and left his porn open. He could be harmless. You don't know, but you should not do that because you're at your freaking job. Keep your porn in your pocket like I do. Just keep it on the phone. It doesn't make sense to have these tabs just up on your computer where everybody can see them, and you're doing the screen sharing. Like, what? Come on. Come on. You see, guys, listen. When you hear me on this show saying that they're smarter than we are, it's because of stuff like this. Now, I know girls get caught for this type of stuff, but women aren't this dumb. And they don't make mistakes like this while they walk around acting like they're the fucking man because they are a man. Listen, if you're gonna do that, because all men do that shit, they try to, walk around with the chest all out and be like, oh yeah, I'm the fucking man. And then you do stupid shit like this, and now you a nigga with no job. It don't make no damn sense. Buddy really has busty college girl, the tab, just up on the computer. Like this is in a Zoom call, bro. And it's a lecture. Oh my God. This whole class saw it. I wonder if they say his name in this article. Let me read it to you. Let's see. So, at the University of Miami, he's been fired after a viral TikTok video made by one of his students pointed out a pornography bookmark on his computer. But just say he just had the tab open, my nigga. Professor John Peng Zhang was sharing his computer screen with his business class over Zoom during a lecture when students in his class spotted a bookmark on his browser titled Busty College Girl. One of the first students who spotted the bookmark called it out over the live microphone. Shout out to you. I bet you that's a white kid named Daniel, because that's just stuff that kids like that do. You try to embarrass the nigga as fast as you possibly can. And they actually show the kid. I don't know if his name's Daniel, but he definitely was white because he's laughing and they showed it because he's the one recording it and saying it on the video. So that's why I made that comment. Don't think I'm a racist. All right. Let's see. He called it out over the microphone. The rest of the class took notice and began taking screenshots because that's what kids nowadays do. They just automatically pull out their phone and they just try to record and document and get any and all data they can and then try to embarrass you. And then it says, sharing it on social media, obviously. A TikTok by one of his students that published screen grabs of the bookmark went viral, and Zhang never returned to class. This video had over 800,000 views. God. Honestly, they say the best thing sometimes for stress is to, go home, rub one out. So I hope he ran home and did that and then cleared his mind and came up with a game plan on how to spin this shit. Yes, it's your personal computer. You're at home. I hope it's his personal computer because some of these schools be giving you work laptops. So I hope that he was using his personal computer, but at the same time, he's a college professor. He probably was not. Fam, now this opens up a whole other box of worms. Bro, you really on your work computer looking at porn? I'm telling you, one of the times when I was talking about how I believe that women are smarter than men, and I forget who it was, but somebody on my Facebook had, sent me a message or some guy, and he was like, yo, homie, you slipping, bro. That comment was stupid. Ain't no way, dog. And I imagine his voice to be like that because he wasn't approaching me in a disrespectful manner, but you could tell he felt offended by the fact that I would make that comment. I want to say the word outlandish was used, but these are the examples. Buddy literally left a tab open on his work computer. He's not a sharp man, okay? There is no way that you as a man can listen to this show and object to the things that I say when I'm providing you with examples. Some of you MFs are stupid as hell. Shit is crazy. Also, shout out to the student that called him out online over the lecture. God, he must have been embarrassed. That's one of those moments where you're so embarrassed, like your dick literally goes inside of you. Call it turtling. So, ladies, if you didn't know what that meant, if you ever hear your man say, this shit was this cold last night, I was turtling. That means it was in. But yo, my man getting called out over the freaking Zoom lecture, his shit was probably really in. I'm telling you, because that's one of those ones that make your stomach hurt. I bet he threw up in a trash can just out of sheer embarrassment. God, could you imagine? Meaning I'm somebody that my other job, I do remote online type of stuff. I have to be in meetings all day on these online things. I'm glad that one of my computers is strictly just for work stuff. And like there's no activity. I don't even play solitaire on that thing. I don't even know if it has games. God, I wonder. Maybe I can start playing games while I work. That's a different thing. I'll think about that later. But either way, I would never want to have porn on my work computer. Because the one day that you got to screen share an assignment with somebody, that's the day some shit like this happens. And don't let that motherfucker accidentally come on while you're doing class and you forget that your microphone is on or some crazy stuff like that. Shit, the worst thing that's happened to me this far is that one of the people that I was working with caught me laughing at Brooklyn Nine-Nine for about 5 minutes while I was working. They were just watching me work while I was laughing at the show. They thought it was hilarious. But that's literally the worst thing that can happen to me. That alone had my heart racing because I'm like, oh my God, how horrible of an employee am I that I'm in here laughing at a show while I should be working. But then I remembered I'm one of the best that there is, and I'm highly productive. So this shit is okay. And I was entertaining because I'm funny, and they were watching me watch the show. So that shit was funny. Great show. If you guys have not watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you should check it out. It's funny as hell. But either way, this seems like one of the most embarrassing things that can happen to a person, especially a man. So sorry, professor, but you will not have a job ever. Now you're probably going to be at a high school somewhere teaching something. No, you're definitely not going to work at a high school. You're probably going to be teaching classes to people who are trying to get like their citizenship or something. You're going to be teaching English at night. Or teaching, like math classes or something. Like you're gonna be doing something probably in the teaching field. You might be doing driver's ed, or maybe you won't be, because that brings us to our next story. So now in the state of Georgia, they're no longer requiring people to do a physical driving test in order to obtain a license. That seems crazy as hell, right? Yeah. Can you imagine now that you're gonna be on the road traveling around next to somebody who's never driven a vehicle before? They're going to be out on the freeway, probably causing more accidents, all because your state decided that, now that we had this pandemic, I guess we just don't need anybody to prove they can actually drive the fucking car. Like, as long as they can pass the written test, which is actually, now that we're only doing everything online, they can just have somebody sit next to them and help them get all the freaking answers so they don't have to take it again, because taking it more than one time is an inconvenience. And God, why would we ever want to inconvenience anybody and make them do anything more than they really have to, right? So I got an idea. Let's just not make them actually take the driving test. We'll just have them do the shit online. We'll give them a fucking license, and then we can just take their money for tabs every fucking year. And then we'll, take it out of their ass for some taxes too. It's not a big deal, because if they cause an accident and they don't know how to drive and maybe they kill someone in a head-on collision, it's not a big deal because it's population control. That's what we've been trying to achieve, right? Yeah, okay, we're all sold. So Georgia, shout out to you for being close to the asshole of America, which is Florida. So you're the thing right above the asshole. You're one of those wrinkles that makes the balloon knot. That's what Georgia is. If Florida is the actual hole, Georgia is one of those little ripples on the outside that can kind of stretch out a little bit, but probably shouldn't. But yeah, that's what Georgia is right now, because that's one of the dumbest ideas that I've ever heard of in my life. You better make them damn kids drive a damn car, and you better fail them if they can't do it, because if they get out on the road, they're going to put people's lives at risk because they're going to panic, not know what to do, and they're going to get somebody killed. It's not worth it. Let's see. Oh, hold on. We got a story about a weirdo at a school. I'm not going to give any names or say what the school is, but let's see. This was in class. They had a tab that said something with hot wife or something like that. Dang, put on leave. They found no evidence, but when they checked his computer, I guess he was able to come back. But he never did. Well, yeah, because he's embarrassed. That means he did something. Or maybe the scrutiny was just too much, that like sometimes when these little things happen and people do weirdo stuff, just the sheer shame of it in those first few moments, it's enough to destroy a person for life. And so some of these people can't go back to their homes. They can't go back to their jobs after things like this because also, obviously, it ends up on the internet and people thrive on the internet. They want to take everything that they see and they want to make a freaking spectacle about it. That's what we do as people because all of our lives are really boring, especially now. I mean, don't you just love it? The fact that I'm on here talking about a guy getting busted for having porn up on his computer and we're not talking about the dirty draws virus. I mean, don't you just love it? Oh, we all love it here. We just love it. But yeah, this is probably going to ruin Buddy's life. He's going to have to move to another town. He's going to have to go somewhere where he can just blend in and people don't know him because now he will be forever recognized. And at least he wasn't in there. Well, shit, I hope he wasn't in there jerking off, but you never know. He probably was, hey, you guys take a 15-minute break. We'll be right back with the last half of the lecture. And then he, puts his camera on, close or mute, whatever, mutes the microphone. And he's freaking looking at busty college girls. I don't fucking know. But either way, the way that this played out for him, he played himself out, and now he's played himself out of a job, probably has played himself out of the town that he lives in, and now he's going to have to go start a whole new life. So this story that I'm reading, I'm not surprised that the teacher didn't come back, because why would you come back after something that's that embarrassing? Don't have nasty shit on your work computer where people can see it. Keep it on your phone. Keep your phone in your pocket. Don't let niggas look at your fucking phone, especially if you're one of these nasty little freaks that's walking around and always has the tab up. Shit. Some of you guys need Jesus. Damn. All right. Speaking of weird stuff at schools, as we transition into our next topic before we take a break. So I saw an article today that said Felicity Huffman's daughter has been accepted to college after taking the SATs. Now, my first thought was, did she take them or did her mother or father pay somebody to take them so she could go to college? You might remember Felicity Huffman is one of these rich white ladies who has escaped jail time or significant jail time after finding a way to finesse college transcripts or, pay money, under the table to get their kids in. And who knows, maybe their kids probably could have qualified, but I can't imagine that they would have gone to the lengths that they did if their kids were good enough to get into college on their own, or at least to the schools that they wanted to go to. So what I'm going to say, because I don't want to disrespect these kids and imply that they are not intelligent, so I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and just assume that mom did these things. Oh, we got Priscilla calling. Priscilla, what is crack-a-lacking, dog? Hello?
Hey.
I sound like I heard a blinker. Are you in the car?
Yes.
I'm
going to get some first aid supplies.
Okay. Oh, you're getting okay. Do you want to tell the people what happened after I tell them about Felicity F. Huffman? Sorry.
So
I have muff on the brain.
10 minutes before you called, my kids have been fighting nonstop with each other all day today.
Okay, kids fighting nonstop all day. Got it.
So they've been getting into like physical little brawl, like these little bar fights in my house. And I was like, look, one of you guys is gonna get hurt.
Who's been winning?
So my daughter,
Who's been winning?
It's been pretty even.
Okay.
It's been pretty even. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to tell because I break it up. So.
And that's the answer we were looking for, because on this show we do not condone violence with children. So great job, Priscilla.
Right. Right. Now I just crack open a beer, let's scoop it out. So she's screaming in his face because he stole her chicken nugget. And my son just looks at her like he's 2 inches from her face at this point and just smacks her in the face with a dinosaur.
Yo, you were wild all over some chicken nuggets? I mean...
all over some chicken nuggets. And so...
niggas don't be playing about their food.
You know what?
I said, niggas don't be playing about their food, bro. You gotta be careful, man.
Man. So at first I thought she was being a little dramatic because that's how my daughter is until I saw all the blood.
Oh shit, bleed?
So she's got, it was bleeding. I had to clean it up because I thought I was going to have to go to urgent care to get stitches. It's not that deep. but I at
That's
least
what
want to
she
get
said.
those little, like, the little strips to keep it closed together.
Yeah. Butterfly stitches or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Yo, that's crazy. They're in there wilding.
Yeah, man. She got her first little boxing wound.
Yo, you want to hear a crazy story? One time, me and my sister, shout out to Gabby. I love Gabby. And Gabby's somebody that, like, I've told a story about her where she punched the nigga's eye out before. So, like, my sister's like, you know, she will run hands. But when we were super young, I remember one time she threw a remote and it like hit me in the head or some shit like that. And my dad had this buffalo nickel. And if you know anything about a buffalo nickel, that thing is mad thick and hella big. And I was so mad at her. I threw it and I hit her clean across the head with that. We were super young, like super young. So luckily I couldn't throw very hard at the time, but it was enough to like almost put her to sleep. And we were, like I said, super duper young because she damn near knocked me out with the remote. Like I ended up hitting my head on the coffee table. Like we were just doing damage to each other when we were young. And like my mom never caught us like until it would get to the point where one of us would start crying. And I'm gonna tell you like this, because I don't have a problem as a man admitting when I've been bested. But when we were young, because of how vicious my sister was, it was about even. We were, you know, sometimes we were running and I might be like, yo, I'm done because you like doing too much. You know what I'm saying? So I'll have to concede some of those and let her get those victories. But there were a couple times where she like damn near ran the fade on me. And I was not surprised when she called me later in life and was like, yo, my nigga, I'm calling you from jail because I ran the fade on her baby daddy way back in the day because my man was not acting right. And I had told him from the beginning, like, this is not somebody you want to play with. So I was lucky that for my sister, I never have had to really give any of my sister's boyfriends the chat. Like even the dude she's seeing now, Micah, I don't have to say nothing to you, dude. Because this is all I'm gonna say. If you ever watch this show, my sister will beat your ass, bro. So you better stay in line. And I'm telling you, as somebody who has had to shoot the fade with her, it's not what you want, bro. Because she'll stab out of there, and it'll be you'll end up knifed up playing with her. But yo, these types of little incidents, they could turn people violent. Yo, you better have like a little chat with them. Be like, yo, y'all can't be in here doing this. Wilding, buddy.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm the only child. So I didn't have any siblings. I don't know what's normal, what's not. I'm like, yo, y'all are really over here throwing punches. Like, for real.
I think some sibling rivalry, a little bit of heat is natural, but like, I don't know. I would say as much as you can now for him as a young man, you don't want him to grow up thinking that it's okay to react to young girls like that. But I already know that you know that. I'm saying that I always recommend to women who have young sons, you want to start early with letting them know that they need to value and appreciate their women, and especially their sisters and their mothers. Because if they grow up thinking that behavior is acceptable, you'll be doing a disservice to every woman that he interacts with in the future. And then also, because it's probably and obviously we hope that you guys end up blessed and you find somebody that can share the household with you and, all these types of things if that's what you're looking for. But, if you end up just going the route of where it's just the three of you, you don't want him in that house as a teenager thinking that it's okay to spaz out and mistreat the women in that house. And that shit starts hella early because he might see how this situation played out and he noticed that as soon as he smacked her, the whole thing was done. Like, now you're not messing with me no more. So now if she gets too close, he might react. And then it might end up being that. And then he'll think that it's like, you can just do this everywhere. If niggas get too close to me, I'll smack them. And you don't want him acting like that.
Yeah, like that's what I'm stressed about because both of my kids are very hot-headed.
Yeah.
And their dad's that way and I'm that way. So they got it double. And so I see that in them. Like, they have a very short fuse and they are like quick to pop off, and I'm like, oh no. Like,
yeah.
I don't even want to get into how much trouble I've been in for being like.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, I don't know. I always just recommend, you wanna let them know young, like little mix-ups are gonna happen. She's his older sister, so she's gonna smack him around a little bit, and that just kind of comes with the territory. And he's got to understand growing up that's your leader. His leader is his sister. I mean, obviously you are the leader, but like she's the assistant to the regional manager. And so he's got to kind of get in line with that. You don't want him acting like he's, he might be spazzing out. That could get deadly. But luckily he's still so young to the point you have time. But I know I have some friends who their sons are starting to get to like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, and it's too late. Because now they're already in a space where they're like telling my friend who's their mother to shut the fuck up and like talking about like basically doing wild shit. And I'm like, oh yeah, that shit is crazy. Can't do that. Yeah, no, don't worry. You still have some time, but I would not dismiss this situation as just some one-off thing. It's just something now that maybe you monitor their interactions a little bit more closely. And obviously this is a time where they don't understand the psychological impact that being in a confined space with people can have. And maybe they're starting to experience that, which is why they've been battling each other all day. Potentially. I mean, I don't know. And who really knows, because you don't know what's going on in the child's mind, because they don't even know and they can't really communicate. I mean, like you were telling me the other day.
When I tell you, it is the hardest thing as a mother when one of your children hurts the other one of your children, because for that split second, I was like, boy, I'm going to whoop your ass.
Yep.
And I had to like really like, okay, like, wow. It's still like that mama bear that comes out as if it was like a stranger that just hurt your kid. So I'm looking at him. I had a long talk with him. His dinosaurs are taken away. I'm just.
Yeah, you gotta learn. So we don't want this to become a habit, young fella. He'll be all right. I mean, if he's gonna be a true king, he has to go through little situations like this, and he has to grow up understanding that, like, if you were at some point going to be the male leader in your household, a part of being a leader is like not abusing your teammates. And so you don't want to, he can't grow up thinking like, yo, all I got to do is just smack these MFs and they stay away from me, because a lot of kids, they grow up thinking that. And even though, you were mentioning how like, how you are, how his father is, all these things. I'm like, yeah, those things might be true about you guys, but they don't have to be true for your kids. So you can reset the tone and reset that cycle. That just ends up being how much, like how mindful of it are you. That's why I say like, this is probably not one of those ones where you're just like, not a big deal. They were just goofing. Like, buddy broke some skin. Now you got a child that's bleeding. Now you're on the way to get butterfly stitches. This is a bigger deal than what he may realize. And it might be one of those ones where, you tuck this story into your back pocket to use as a lesson reminder from time to time as he grows up. Be like, yeah, you've done this before and I'm not going to have it again. So we are not about to go to the same place ever again. I know that's what my mom did to me. And I think that shit worked because like she has that experience and it's something that he has been a part of that he won't ever be able to deny unless he just doesn't remember. But you use that as your resource and as your leverage. You remind him like, we're not going to have this type of stuff happen again. And you have sharp children. So I'm sure it's just going to take, small conversations, but it's probably something that you need to watch out for, especially if he's feeling, starting to get a little bit, riled up because of the confinement and just being locked in the house. Like, just something to be mindful of.
I know. I stress about stuff like that all the time because, like, especially with his sensory issues, he doesn't understand. Like, the boy is strong. Like, he don't get how hard he hits things.
Yeah.
Like, he has no sensory perception, and that shit scares the hell out of me.
Yeah. Because he may not, like, even today, he may not have realized that, like, he just kind of swung his hand. He's not realizing that he's generating so much force that it's enough to, like, bust somebody up. And that's, like I said, that's what you don't want him to. You want him to understand that he has to, place limitations on himself, but he also needs to grow to understand, like, where he's at and, like, what he can do and what he can't do, and, like, how he should, use his body to express himself. You got this, though. Stay strong. You're a great mother. You're gonna be all right. Little stuff like this, man. Like I said, I'm only giving you feedback because I was that kid. My mom was a single mom, and I think she, honestly, now I think she did a wonderful job. But I low key think back in the day she was probably just winging it because the people around her weren't giving her positive feedback and advice about how to handle situations. They were just telling her what to do. And that shit that they were telling her was not working on me. And that's why I turned out to be this wild motherfucker that I am, But there are still a lot of these lessons that I remember from being very young. So, my mom always, I don't want to say held it over my head. I think it was an important thing to hold over my head. But she always reminded me of those run-ins that I had with my sister and why they were bad news and why it was stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. And I think it's made it to where, because since then, it's not like women have never pissed me off, but there have been some things that I will say that men have done to piss me off, or I've tried to snap their neck, and women have done similar things, and I've walked away and just given them a smile. And I salute to my mother. She kind of created that within me. So y'all are lucky, because I could be one of these wild, violent type of. Because some of y'all, especially me with my temper, but a lot of that comes from learning those lessons young. So we just, got to teach them. My mom stayed on my ass about that. And I know you will end up doing the same. So he will be fine and you will be fine. Let me know how I can help support you.
I will. I mean, hey, if you remember it as a grown ass man, then clearly she was doing something right.
Oh, I definitely remember it because my mom about kicked my ass a couple of times because it's like what you were saying, like, sometimes I would just get so mad at what Gabby was doing. I didn't realize, like, how my size and my strength that I didn't recognize that I have, how all that makes a difference. Like, boys just really don't know until they start being taught about those differences, whether people believe they exist or not. But, like, your body's going to be different. You're going to be stronger. You're going to do these things. Like, these are not things that you should use to, like, exert dominance over women. It's not a thing that you need to do. You need to learn how to use these things to benefit yourself and as well as benefit your team. But part of your team is going to be, you're going to have to be able to function with other people. And so, like, you're not going to be able to do that if your first reaction to everything is just to kick everybody's ass, regardless of whether it's, man with man, man with woman, woman with woman. You just can't do that type of stuff. So, yeah, it's just important to give them those reminders every day. One thing I know you're not going to do, because we're going to get back into this story real quick, is you're not going to be a shitty mother like Felicity Huffman and then lie and cheat and find ways for your kids to go to college without having them go through the process like everybody else. So, Priscilla, this story popped up where it said Felicity's daughter was accepted into college after actually taking the SAT. Do you think she actually took it, or did Felicity pay somebody to do it for her?
I mean, I would not be surprised if she paid somebody to do it for her at all.
You think she would still be doing that after being busted for that?
I feel like people who believe they are untouchable do stupid shit.
Yo, why?
And clearly,
white folks do the most. So I wouldn't be shocked either, if I'm just being honest. Let's get the cord over here. Yeah, it's interesting because I will always go back to the thing that got brought up was when this whole case with what's her name, Lori Loughlin and Felicity Huffman. I'll be forgetting these are Full House characters, right? Or one of them is at least, and I know the other lady is married to the dude who's on Shameless. What else is he in? I only know him from one of my favorite movies with Ben Stiller. What is that movie called? Now I'm blanking on the name where they all are like janky superheroes. Please tell me you know what I'm talking about. God, what is the name of that?
Oh wow.
Mystery Men. I love that movie.
Yeah.
That's classic.
Wow,
So yeah. So I remember her husband is in that, but I don't remember seeing him in anything else. I've also never seen an episode of Shameless. People tell me to watch that all the time. Have you ever seen that?
No.
Okay, so then neither of us are missing out. We're not going to get into Shameless then. Obviously, we've never seen it. We're not going to comment on that. But his wife is kind of a garbage can because she didn't want to actually make her kids work for. And what I did before you called, I wanted to specify that I don't know if her kids are dummies and so she cheated just to get them in, or if she cheated because their grades just weren't good enough to get them into a specific school. I don't know the details of her case because I don't care, because I knew that they were going to like let her off easy while they have this black lady who, and I don't know, maybe she's out by now, but at the one point she was supposed to be serving 5 years in prison because she wrote a different address on her daughter's transcript so her daughter could actually go to a good school and get an education. I think she used her parents' address and it wasn't hers. Yeah, and she's doing time behind that. But because Felicity F. Muffman has money and there's some power and privilege, one of the perks of being white, because she was able to do that and provide some of the best defense attorneys money can buy, she was able to skate by, not do a lot of jail time. I think she did, like 10 days or some shit like that. She got like a 28-day sentence, or I could be wrong. Let me pull it up. I want to speak accurately because this actually is a big deal. So let's see. Felicity Muffman. Why do I keep calling her that? God, I keep talking about her muff. Let me stop. So she did 11 days. It literally says that Felicity Huffman served 11 days in prison after admitting to fixing her Sophia Macy's SAT score. So I guess that's her daughter. Yeah. Yeah, because his name's William H. Macy. Yeah, so that's their daughter. And so I guess she went back and took the test and now all is forgiven. But like, you did 11 days in prison. And we got a sister that's over here doing 5 fucking years because she want her daughter to go to a good school so she can potentially have the same type of opportunities that Felicity paid for her daughter to have. So it's crazy to think that some of these people actually have to earn it and that their parents would have to be subjected to going to prison, losing their income, not being able to see or provide for their children in order to provide for their children. But then these other people, they get to wash the shit away as long as they have a deep checkbook. Some of these stories should rattle some of you white people to the fucking bone. So when we say that the shit is unjust and it's not fair, I don't want to hear no shit of like, well, it's not that big of a deal. Just let it go or try harder. It's your responsibility to put yourself in a position to where you can be better. But you see what happens when we try to do that shit? You get a slap on the wrist. We get slapped all the way across the back of the fucking head with a 2x4, knocked out, put in a grave, get buried for eternity. Those are the differences between us. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh my God, it sounds so extreme. Oh, doesn't it sound so extreme? Because it's extreme. Not just ranting. I'm speaking facts. I'm going to do this every single week on this show until the end of time, until some of you actually start to realize it. And I hope that some of you that I'm trying to make realize it are actually most of my white friends who still try to pretend that this shit don't exist.
Yeah, that part.
Some of this is for y'all, people that I personally know. And if it gets to the point where you continue to deny what I'm saying because you're just being an asshole, I'm going to start calling your name on the show. Maybe shout out where you work at. Probably put you on the spot. Not to cause you any harm, but mainly just because I want you to have to give the same little sorry-ass speeches you give to me. I want you to give them to everybody else. Defend your platform. If you firmly believe that maybe we should take a little more responsibility and that some of this stuff is not a big deal, defend that shit. Not just to me, because, you know, me and you, like, we're cool, we're friends. And I just understand that some of this stuff you just won't ever get. And I kind of give you a pass. But I wonder how you would be received if you had to give those same shaky ass arguments to other people that don't know you. Are you going to freeze up? Are you going to shiver me in your timbers? Is that what they call it? Are you going to shiver? You probably will. Most of you will. I know you will. A lot of you will fold because you're not built to actually stand behind your own, you know, stand on your own convictions and actually believe in what you say. You just say shit because it's harder for you to admit that your brethren have committed all these transgressions. So you rather just ignore it, which is kind of pathetic. Yeah, that is kind of pathetic, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like that's like how it works. And that's the sad thing. And I think we've talked about this before. Like, people, I feel, get caught up in like this, oh, well, I can preach this all day on my social media, so I believe it. But then when it comes to real life situations and actually potentially having to stand up to somebody that's your friend, your family, your spouse, any of those things, it's like, that's where it's important. Like, you can post shit on social media all day long.
Yeah.
It's not going to make a difference.
You're absolutely right. It's just crazy, man. The world we live in. You know, it's interesting when because when I opened up the show, Priscilla, I was talking about how, you know, when we talked about that cop beating up that 14-year-old the other day, I guess
that video makes me sick.
Yeah, that shit is crazy. And so I guess the department he works for has now opened up an investigation on him, which is super dope.
Good.
But it was one of those things when I opened it up, I was talking about how crazy that is. But I forgot to mention that, like, when you see those videos floating around, you ever look at like the comments and see the amount of people that will go in there and like they're literally watching something that we all know is wrong. And you'll literally have white people in there being like, well, I don't see what the big deal is. If he wouldn't be resisting, he wouldn't be getting his ass kicked. Like, you know, and I know that they talk like that because those are the people who think that this shit is cool. They think this shit is okay. They think it's okay that a mother would go to prison for 5 years for putting her parents' address on some school forms just to make sure that her daughter has the best opportunity and the same opportunity as other kids. They'd rather see that than actually see one of these cops or one of these garbage ass people like Felicity do time. They don't think that shit is ever a big fucking deal. And they always say that the stuff that happens to us, as far as the consequences are concerned, are never a big deal as well. This shit is crazy to me. These are the same people that believe that, you know, you have to inject yourself with the disinfectant to get it to fucking work, right?
Apparently, yeah. Yeah, just straight shoot bleach.
Yeah, which that's freaking crazy too, because that sorry, I was turning off the freaking iPad because sometimes the Siri will start thinking that you're talking to it. It'll start sparking up. I'm not trying to hear her talking. But yeah, so that shit is crazy. We're done ranting. Priscilla, did Steph send you that video?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it. What are your first thoughts?
Which video?
The video of the girl who's speaking on behalf of her nurse friend in New York City. Did she not send you that?
Oh, yeah, she did send me that. It was definitely interesting. I don't doubt it at all.
Yeah.
The woman herself kind of annoyed me, so I wasn't really taking her seriously at first. But then, like, within the first minute, I was like, oh, okay, she may be talking about some real shit.
Yeah, I felt the same thing. I think I kind of said that when I introed it, where I was feeling like some of the stuff she was saying, I was like, okay, whatever. But yeah, I'm hoping that, obviously we hope that this is not true. So for those of you who don't know, I don't know if everybody's seen this because I'm not active on Facebook anymore. So I don't see videos like this all the time popping up on IG because I follow so many meme pages and like obviously there's like all kinds of booties popping up and stuff and funny videos. You know, it's just a mixture of all kinds of stuff. But it's not usually shit like this. And so this video that I'm sent today is a lady who's speaking on behalf of her friend who is, I guess, is a traveling nurse or who is just somebody who volunteered their time to go help save lives in New York City. So shout out to all the healthcare workers because there are a ton of people that did that. And one thing, Priscilla, I will say that was interesting was when she mentioned the part about there being nurses who are stuck at hotels who went and volunteered to go help out and they're being told to just wait at their hotel. So, and I get that like facilities can only hold so many, but then it's weird because the whole thing is her talking about how they're letting people die in these hospitals by not treating them all the way, but then saying that they definitely have the manpower to do so, but then they have people who are just sitting at the hotel waiting to get their name called. That part is crazy.
It's hinting at a bigger problem.
Yeah.
We'll put it that way.
So it got me thinking, like, if that's the case, I mean, obviously, we somewhat kind of believe that a lot of bit of this is related to population control. I didn't say a little bit. I said a lot of it is related to some population control. So do you think that maybe they're just paying people to sit at these hotels because they're looking at some of the people who maybe their chances are not that great to survive and they're just allowing them to fade? And I probably for good reason if you're trying to just, try to save the people that you can. And so I understand that sometimes that type of shit will happen. So I was thinking maybe it's that. But then when you listen to her describe the account that her friend has given her, it almost seems like they're purposely like not putting in the resources that they acquired because maybe they're trying to get our overall number down. Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't think the numbers have been reported correctly at all. And I know somebody who works at Evergreen, and she's worked there she's actually my friend's mom, my best friend's mom. And she came home, this is about the third week during quarantine, and she was like, I'm not seeing the numbers that I'm hearing on the news.
Yeah. I could believe that. We had a friend of the show who was a clinic manager at Evergreen. She's used to give me all kinds of updates on this type of stuff. And even recently she was saying, and I don't want to speak out of line, but I'm just kind of paraphrasing, but I know things on the news seem like they're really worse, but she was making it seem as though we were kind of phasing out of the worst of this. And she hadn't mentioned any of the stuff that the lady was talking about in this video. So maybe that's just not happening in our area, but it's interesting to think that she's basically saying that they're leaving people to die in these facilities and that they're not reporting the numbers correctly. And then it just happens that another topic that we had on the sheet was about how they're finding bodies just being left on the main roads of where cemeteries are, and they're in body bags, they're in coffins. There was a bunch of bodies that were just found in an unrefrigerated U-Haul. They're leaving people in places. And then it's crazy because then you go back to this video, Priscilla, and it's remember the part where she's talking about how obviously to prevent the spread, they're not letting anybody go in the room with any of these people. So they don't have advocates. Some of these people are really dying, probably some gruesome deaths. And I mean that from the aspect of can you imagine not having anybody to be in there to support you or hold your hand or comfort you? And you just have people hooking you up to machines without your consent. And then they're just leaving you to die. And if they're really codes are coming through and they're not doing anything, you know how crazy that is? Oh my God.
Dude, I don't know. nobody knows what's going on, but there's definitely some fishy shit about what's going on.
So
and I don't really know what to make of it.
Yeah.
But I haven't had enough time either to like fully research, like really get into depth about like what's actually going on, like what people are saying, not what the news is saying.
Yeah, I feel like I'm hearing a mix. I'd be curious.
I have a lot of friends on the East Coast, and I haven't really been in contact with them like I normally do.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see because I have a friend in Brooklyn. I have a friend in Jersey.
Hey, shout out to Jersey and Brooklyn.
Yeah, so I'm just curious because New York, I get this weird vibe off of what's going on in New York.
Yeah.
I'm very intuitive when it comes to stuff like that, and something's not right with what they're doing in New York in particular.
I mean, honestly, nothing seems right. I feel like, I don't know, man. I don't want to get too far into it because I don't want them to close the show. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, if you're watching this, I am somebody I'm questioning everything. Some of this stuff just seems just shaky. Just even if you're using basic standard logic, some of this stuff don't be adding up. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go into some crazy stuff, but like, I mean, come on. Even our vice president literally went to the Mayo Clinic the other day. To the fucking Mayo Clinic. Only nigga in the building not wearing a mask. How are you the only person in the building not wearing a mask? And then you know what his response was? Well, because he's being tested frequently, he doesn't need to wear the mask. But then his wife came out and was like, well, you know what? It's okay. Sorry that he wasn't wearing the mask. And she said some corny shit to defend him. But fam, why did we see that video where there were people on the staff already saying that a lot of these people in the White House had already been vaccinated? Y'all already have a vaccine? Like all of this shit seems sketchy, bro. He's at the Mayo Clinic not wearing a protective mask around people who are wearing them while hooked up to IVs laying on hospital beds. And he's not wearing one?
I mean, clearly he's not concerned, right?
I mean, white guys ain't concerned about shit. They don't believe it until it's all literally crashing down in front of their eyes. They never believe that they're in the red or in trouble or nothing. I mean, do you see how they act? You see how a lot of these guys act.
Yeah.
And I know that it's not all of you. If it's not you, don't get offended. If you're offended, it's because you're insecure and you know it's you. It's the only reason people get offended. They allow themselves to become offended. But you only feel that way if you know what I'm saying is true and I'm talking about you. Most of the white guys that I know are actually pretty, like, they're really stand-up dudes. So they don't act like this, at least not in front of my face. I hope they don't act this way behind my back. But at the same time, if that were to happen, I'd probably be like, you know what? Can you really blame them? Like, it's wired in their DNA. Like when people say that white people don't have culture, fam, they do. That's what it is. Their culture is stepping on people to get to higher heights and pretending like as if nothing is wrong and that you can just do whatever the fuck you want to do and there's no consequences. That's why we have these bozos leading us. Can you believe it? I'm still blown away. He went to the Mayo Clinic, Priscilla. He went to the Mayo Clinic. It's not a small hospital. It's not a 3-room little hospital in a shopping center. It's the Mayo Clinic. Bro, why don't you have a mask on? Something is up. It's fishy. All this shit is suspect. So that video with that girl talking about her nurse friend, I don't know what to believe because she did sound kind of like a goof. But hey, she also kind of sounded like she knew what she was talking about. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Hard to tell. Yeah, very interesting. I don't know, man. Steph and I didn't really get a chance to dive into what she thought, but I would be interested to know what some of her thoughts were on this situation. But we can save that for the Sunday show. So let's see. Let's talk about Telvin Smith real quick. This is because I have a question to see if you've ever heard of these charges being phrased this way. So Telvin Smith is a garbage. Well, he's a former NFL player. I don't know if he was garbage. I don't remember his name, so he must not have played a lot, so he's garbage. But he's also garbage for the fact that he's now been arrested and charged with, wait for it, unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. Have you ever heard of that phrase that way? What does that mean?
What is certain minors?
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know what that means. Because usually it's just, what is it? Like it's misconduct or sexual assault or rape. Again, it's just against a minor. There is no, like, I didn't know there was like a certain classification for different types of, like, this is just weirdo shit, right? I don't know. So you've never heard that, I'm assuming, based on your reaction?
No. What is that? Hold on, I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah, this is super fucking weird. I was asking somebody about this earlier, and they had never heard it either. I forget who I was talking to about that. So again, ladies and gentlemen, Telvin Smith is a former NFL player. He played for the Jags, number 50, and he's been arrested and charged with unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. And so right now we're trying to figure out what exactly that even means. Yeah, I've never heard that before in my life. So
hold on.
So obviously Buddy has done something that is very stupid. I'm not sure what would prompt him. Okay, go. I'll let Priscilla go and then I'll finish. Go ahead.
Sorry.
And that's what she said.
Certain minors competent to contract. So a minor who is 16 years of age or older.
So the certain minors like tag applies to somebody who is 16 or older. So basically it's just saying that he has fooled around with children, but they weren't younger than 16.
Right. So basically, like, if he got their parental consent in that state, it would have been okay.
Wait, in Florida?
That's what it's saying.
In the state of Florida, if you get parent consent, you can hook up with a 16-year-old? I did not know that. I lived in Florida my whole life. That's crazy. But now that explains why there's so many creeps walking around, like openly. Like that's why one of the reasons why Florida is the asshole of America. That's crazy. All right, is there more? I'm sorry if you were reading. Sorry, I reacted. Go ahead.
No, that was it.
Jesus. Okay, so apparently unlawful sexual activity with certain minors. Said it perfectly without having to look at it. So Markel's saying that she thinks that might be any state. That just seems crazy because I'm wondering what parent in their right mind is going to give someone consent to do a smash and dash on their teen daughter or son. Fuck, teen in any capacity. That just seems crazy. So now I'm wondering, does it say what's like the sentence for if convicted? What's the sentence for this? Could be 18, could be 16. They're classmates at that point. Yeah, that's true.
Punishable up to 15 years in prison.
15 years. Okay, so this was what the point that I was going to make before Priscilla gave us the definition and helped us understand what this phrase means. So my thing is this, and keep in mind, I know a lot of people that play professional sports. So I know what the lifestyle is like, and I've been at the games. I know how thirsty some of these girls are, and I'm going to say this. I went to a lot of NFL games over the years, and I've seen some of the baddest girls at these games. So and they're literally there waiting for all some of these guys have to do, and even the ugly niggas, all they got to do is be like, that one. They point and they come running. So my thing is, if you're in that position, you're in the NFL, and even the niggas that don't play a lot get girls. I know plenty of girls, even who follow me on Facebook, who are hella thirsty for Seattle Seahawks players. So if you're able to get girls that are your age, why are you opting for the girl who's 16 to 18 years old?
Well, that's and that's the thing. That's like that weird sort of get them while they're fresh fetish.
Don't say that. Get them while they're fresh. That sounds like an advertisement for donuts. You just ruined donuts for me. Oh, sorry, I had to close the window. The airplane flying over real loud. Y'all live by the airport, nigga, and what? It's loud over here. Deal with it. It's just crazy because, like I said, I've seen how the girls act. I've even heard some of the things that have come out of some of these girls' mouths. I'm like, bro, as a professional athlete, there's no reason why you should be a simp or a weirdo guy that feels like he has to do weirdo stuff. And maybe they do it for the thrill. Is it the thrill, you think? Like, it's like, oh, maybe I'm going to get caught. Maybe I'm not. Like, I don't know, man. That shit is just weird to me. Because literally, like, some of these girls are so bad and they throw themselves at these guys. And these guys are like, nah, I want the girl who's in high school. Like, that's so weird to me. Why?
I think it's a dominance thing. I think it's dominance and manipulation. And some men genuinely get off on that.
I mean, I feel like this, though. You are exactly right. But my thing is this. You play professional sports because you enjoy the idea of competition. Why then go and just take the easy road in that aspect of life? And that easy road, although is easy, because how hard is it to manipulate children? Come on, they barely know anything. They don't know the stuff that you know as an adult. And that's what makes it easy for these guys to groom them. But like, how do you have fun in that? Like, if you enjoy the idea of competition, like, why wouldn't you try to see if you actually have the skills within the aspect of romance to, like, you know, when I say dominate a woman, I'm just basically using the term that you used. Like, do that. But you know what it is a lot of these men, they're actually such bitches that they're intimidated by grown-up women because these women see through their bullshit. So that's why they go for the easy prey. It's because they're pussies and they don't want to actually be told what to do by a real woman. It's easier to tell little girls what to do or little boys what to do, whatever these niggas are into. But now I see it now. God, some of you guys are bitches. Man, Priscilla's like I was telling you the other day. Sometimes I'd be like, yo, bro, I don't even there. Sometimes I'm just in that space where I'm like, there's no way that all of that exists, because if that is real, how in the fuck is he or she allowing things like this to happen to people? And you know what I'm talking about. I'm not gonna dive into it on this, but this is how I feel from time to time. So when people are like, yo, homie, stay in your prayers, stay close to Jesus, walk with God, you'll be okay. And I'm like, am I gonna be okay? Look at what happened to people. How do I know? I don't know, man. That's just crazy. But anyway, Telvin Smith, welcome to the Scumbag Alum. You are Kelly, Bill Cosby, some of the greats. You're now up there with the greats. Not for something good, but you're up there with the greats. If that's what you were hoping for, my man, that has been achieved. Now, speaking of actual greats, I hear that Mike Tyson is potentially looking to train and make his comeback to the ring and box for charity events and stuff like that. Now, I have gone on record since it's probably been about 10 or 12 years now, because Priscilla, you may not know this, but I actually have a TV show that's on my old YouTube channel. It's not good, But I used to say, and I'll let you do your thing. I'll tell the story to the crowd while you get settled. But I used to say on the show that for the right amount of money, like $5 million, I'll let Mike Tyson punch me out, or I'll get in and I'll throw hands with him. I know I would be unsuccessful, and I'm prepared to have. You remember when your parents used to say they'll knock you back in time? I'm prepared to time travel via a punch from Mike Tyson, even if it's only a brief thing, or if I end up in a coma for 5 years. I'm okay with that as long as the money is right. Now, I obviously we said it's going to be for charity. I'm going to give most of it to charity, but in order for me to have my freaking brain cracked in two by Mike Tyson, he's going to have to pay me for that. So if Mike is looking for people to, like, exchange, now I'm not going to say I'm nice, Mike, but my arms is long. So be ready for that. Now I know you got hella power and you're probably going to put me to sleep very quickly, but if you want to box, I'll do it. But just, as friends, though, obviously. It's no disrespect, Mr. Tyson. I don't want you to try to kill me or anything like that. But I'm looking to get my hands on $5 million. That's my asking price. If you feel like I'm worth it, hit me up. Have my people call your people, or your people call my people. We'll work it out. But I do think it's interesting that Mike Tyson is making his way back to the ring. I think Mike is about 52, 55 years old, somewhere around in the 50s. But when you see some of these videos, and I did a story on him before, you see some of these videos of him throwing hands. Mike looks like he can still put some of these current pros to sleep. Like, I would almost feel like if he came back to professional boxing, and because he'd probably be fighting people that are like 25 to 30 years old, I'd probably be like wondering, are we going to file charges on Mike for abuse against children? Because that's what he probably would do. Because it looks like Mike still has hands, still has speed, and he definitely probably still has power. Now, obviously, he's 52. So some of this shit, when it would come to game time, it's not going to work the same way it used to. But, I'm sure Mike keeps his teeth sharp and ready just in case he's got to bite a nigga's ear off or something crazy like that. He is on record saying that he likes, he'll eat your kids if he needs to. So if he can, psych himself out, get himself in that mode again, I feel like Mike could go back to being a killer in the ring. So I would watch a charity event with Mike Tyson fighting somebody. I think that is something, depending on who it is, that could be bigger than McGregor Mayweather, which I think to date is one of the biggest, most viewed like little sporting events that boxing's had in a long time, where people actually like buying in. That was pretty crazy. A lot of money was made in that. So I think if Mike's trying to do it for charity, if we get the right people to go in there and get knocked out by Mike, and maybe they do it where like Mike stays in there and knocks out like 10 people. Try to see if Mike can go through 10 people, and I'm like the 9th guy, And if I end up knocking him out, I get $5 million. But if he knocks me out, I only get 3. 2 of it has to go to charity. So I'm down for some stuff like that. We got to set that up. I need to get a promoter. So is Don King still available? Is he passed away? Somebody let me know about that. Either way, man, Mike Tyson back to the ring. That'll be pretty crazy. When Priscilla comes back, these next few topics are probably going to be for her. But this one that I'm going to do while we wait is going to be strictly just for y'all. So I saw, and Markel, yes, I'm willing to sacrifice an ear against Mike Tyson. If Mike Tyson goes to bite one of my ears off, I would be one of 2 people all time that can say that. That's a story that only Evander Holyfield has currently. So imagine if I had a story where I'm like, yeah, and Mike bit my ear off too. That would be crazy. No one has that story. So yeah, I'm prepared to sacrifice a piece of my ear to fight Mike Tyson for charity, not for real life. I don't have a problem with Mike. Please, Mike, don't watch this and think that I'm some punk who has a problem with you, bro. I swear, I don't have a problem with you, Mike. I'm sorry. I really feel like Mike will probably maybe he would fix some of my brain malfunctions. He'll knock some shit back into place. Either that or he'll fucking kill me. I don't know if my body is equipped to take a punch from Mike Tyson. But anyway, Priscilla, welcome back. Before we get into the last couple things that I want to talk to you about, there was a video that I saw, because I follow one of these pages where they post like really crazy shit. And there was literally a video where some girl made a video of her slapping some mother. And you don't see a lot of the video. You just see her standing in the doorway, kind of holding the lady by like her clothes and then giving her like a couple of the hardest smacks that you probably had ever heard in a long time. And then it was kind of crazy because it's obviously hella disrespectful because she's like looking back at the camera and then like smacking her and then being like, yo, see, I told you. I'm, like trying to be like a tough guy and all that shit. And so this is why we want to refrain from fooling around and trying to be funny on the internet just for views. I do not know if this is true. I hope for this girl's sake that it's not. But at the same time, I can understand because depending on where you're at, some people take this shit pretty serious and you don't know who people are related to. Apparently, the girl in the video who's slapping this older lady has now been killed because of the incident.
Wow.
Yeah. So what they're saying is because she was trying to go viral and make a video of her slapping somebody or whatever, that, the streets have, answered the call and it sounds like she's been taken care of. Now, like I said, it was hard to prove if this was true because they didn't provide much detail around the story. It literally is just a video of a girl smacking some person in the face standing in the doorway. And then I saw a follow-up post like a day or two later that said, girl in viral video who's slapping mother is killed. And then I'm like trying to do the research on it. And it was like only a couple things were popping up, but saying that she had been killed. But they weren't specifically saying it was because of that situation. I mean, obviously they don't really know that. They just think that it's in relation to said video. But fuck, man, if it is all because of some video and you were trying to be funny and you put your hands on somebody and you ended up dying behind that, that is unacceptable because we're losing young ass kids because they're just trying to be funny to get views on the internet. That is crazy.
That's the time you live in.
Yeah, putting your whole life and maybe not realizing it, but putting your whole life on the line for views from people that don't even fucking know you and probably don't like you. She did slap the shit out of her though. God, shit was loud as hell too. When I opened it, I had my headphones in on full blast. And when that first smack came in, it felt like I got smacked on the side of the head on both sides. You know how like you see people like, wow, it felt like that. It was so damn loud. I got to keep the headphones down. Okay, let's get into these things real quick. So it was funny that you and I were talking about voting on the show a couple of days ago. And then I sent you this video, or it was some type of post where Diddy's talking about kind of holding his vote hostage. When I sent you that thing, or what, if you heard anything about it, how did you interpret what he was saying?
What Diddy was saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel him on it because I'm not a Joe Biden fan. I definitely don't like Trump. It is weird to come from the guy who was with the whole vote or die campaign.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Agreed. But again, this is just a reminder that people do things because they're paid, not because they necessarily feel a certain way. But I mean, I feel him on it.
So you think
he's holding his vote hostage?
Yeah, you think Diddy was paid to do the vote or die thing, and you think now, based on time, so maybe he's not being paid to do that, and now maybe he's telling us how he actually feels. You think that's what it is?
Yeah, I mean, but then again, like people's opinions change too. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like anybody who's up there though, or has like some sort of power, understands that it really don't matter anyway.
Yeah. So I would say, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, he's getting a lot of flack from people who are like, oh, you got to vote. But I mean, I'm sure he understands that whoever they want in that position for the next 4 years is going to be in that position for the next 4 years.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's interesting because when I saw it, my first thought was like, I literally remember when I saw the post before I sent it to you, I literally said to myself, I said, really, nigga? You're saying this? And I think I only thought that because I think that for me, I required On his end, where I think he's being irresponsible is that he's not coming out to tell us that he's fed up with how things went in the past, and now he's kind of changed his position. At least I did not hear that. Now, if he has specified that on some other platform or whatever, and maybe I missed it, then, feel free, anyone who's listening, to show me that. But I got the feeling that he just went from being the guy who was like, nah, you gotta vote. And if you don't vote, you're the reason why Black community sucks. And now he went from that to being like, well, hold up, fam. Don't vote. Hold that shit hostage, dog. We not doing shit for free. Like, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, you were literally a few years ago just telling me I wasn't shit because I didn't want to vote and I was Black. And now all of a sudden you're telling me to do what I've been doing.
Yeah.
So that's where I think he kind of, like, I'm not going to say he messed up, because I totally agree with what you're saying, where you got to think at this point, it's been some years and obviously he's changed his stance. I get that. And I don't think he should be receiving flack for it. I think he should have just came out and been like, look, I'm looking at this differently now than what I was years ago. Here is where I'm at, and this is why I'm saying it. Because hearing what he was actually saying, like, if you're able to read between the lines, I definitely see what he's saying. Like, don't just go vote for Biden because you don't like Trump. Make sure that you're voting for someone who actually is going to have your best interest at heart. And that may not necessarily be Biden. It probably was somebody else that we had who ended up dropping out because we didn't put enough support behind that person, for all we fucking know. But it also just depends on your personal preferences in life, because not everybody is a fan of everybody. So I get what he means when he's saying, like, don't just vote, because you hate this other guy. Like, yeah, we all hate him, but fuck, how you know that, you're not gonna, like, if you vote for the other guy, what if Biden end up not really being a good dude neither? Like, you're all going to feel dumb because of that. I mean, you think about the amount of people who only voted for Trump because they didn't want to be led by a female. Think about those people. And now look at them. They're probably some of these same assholes that are carrying their AR-15s on the steps of their Capitol because they're pissed off about having to stay home. So now they're protesting this nigga. But they probably only voted for him because maybe they thought some of his policies sounded good, and they didn't want Hillary to become the president because of their hatred for her about situations that they have no fucking idea about, regardless of what's in your face. And I don't know enough about any of those situations, but I just know that there are so many people that hated her that they voted for him. And that's pathetic, because we have people who do that. Like, we really live in a society where people will only vote for somebody sometimes because they just hate the person that they're running against. And that's crazy, because most of the time you're picking the wrong fucking person, or you're picking somebody who's equally as garbage and you just don't even realize it. So don't be blind to the facts, and make sure that if you are going to vote, that you are getting out there and demanding something. But I think it's, if we're all under the assumption that if we get behind a rah-rah speech like that and then we start making all these demands, you're stupid as shit if you really think that people are going to be like, oh, okay, well, we're so glad you guys took a stand and now we're going to give you everything you want. Like, no, they're still going to pick the people that they want, because that's how this shit works. We're all being finessed. But if you can try to use your vote as some sort of leverage to maybe, finesse on your end some low level type of, royalties or whatever you want to call them, some things that you feel you're going to get back if you vote for somebody, maybe you should do that. Like, don't vote blindly. But I don't think I'm voting. Both of these dudes seem like garbage to me. I can't do it. Or I'm going to write in Michael Jordan. I don't know. Let's get 500,000 people to vote for Michael Jordan. Like, just a cool 500,000, and then just cap it at that. And then I bet we could force LeBron James to be president. If we get a bunch of people to write in Michael Jordan, LeBron's fans will freak out and they'll write him in. He'll get 50 million votes, and then LeBron can be president and hoop. It can only be better. We're at the bottom at this point, right? Are we all in agreement with that? We're at the fucking bottom. So anybody else is at least a step up, right? Maybe. I don't know. James is in the chat. He said Kanye for president. I mean, fuck. 2 years ago when those jokes were floating around, we were all like, oh, God, fuck no. But I don't know, man. That shit don't even sound that bad at this point. I mean, maybe next year's stimulus comes with, 2,010 pairs of free Yeezys for every home in America. Like, that probably could be a thing. Kanye could probably make that happen. I bet you James will vote for Kanye if free Yeezys were on the line. James, write in the chat. You voting for Kanye if he offered you some Yeezys, bro? Yeah, we got people texting me saying, you seen 2020, it could get worse. Don't say that shit. I mean, I feel like Kanye is not worse. He's equally as dumb as Donald Trump. But I feel like at least Kim will actually speak up and kind of check him, whereas Melania just kind of she literally is told to just stand there. Kim at least has some backbone. So I don't think Kim will be as much of a sucker as this other lady. But either way, it's still terrible. Yes, that would be an awful thought. Like, no one would ever get anything done at the White House because all they'll be looking at is ass all day. And Kanye will be in a torn up shirt. He would never wear a suit. Oh my God, could you imagine how ghetto the freaking White House would be? And I would love that shit. Kanye would probably have that place turned up, music blasting all throughout the halls. The white people wouldn't know what to do. But yeah, it would be an awful thing to have him and Kim Kardashian as our president and first lady. I think it should just be LeBron. If we're hiring celebrities for this job now, let it either be LeBron or it has to be Denzel Washington or it needs to be Kerry Washington. Who else is good? I mean, you guys really seem to like Jennifer Aniston seems cool. Like, white people really love her. I mean, if you got to add somebody from everywhere, like Eva Mendes, I could see Eva Mendes being president. Like, we're just trying to pick somebody that's real fine from every category and someone that we feel is like respectable, smart. Will Smith, if Will want to be president, like he could do that. Who else we got? I mean,
I want Denzel.
I could go for Denzel as president. I could fuck with that. Jamie Foxx could be president.
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, he's literally played the president on like 300 movies, so he has more training than anybody. Yeah, James said he'll vote for Kanye twice. James, you don't get to vote twice, bro. Kim gets brothers out of jail. See, and that's another thing. Like, do we know? Like, okay, let me ask y'all this. Is it just Kim? Or is Kim just the person in the room who has the biggest voice amongst people who had already been doing all the groundwork to get these people out of jail?
Mm.
And it's okay if she's either or. I don't think it's bad because if she's using her platform and she is, we are seeing success over this, I'm not going to throw shade at her for that. But I don't want to just give her blanket respect if she just happens to be the lady who is just in the room making the most noise, but everybody else behind her is like formulating the plan. Because I never hear her really being like, well, all of these people, they did this and I'm just supporting them. And I don't know if she doesn't do that. Maybe she does, but I just have not heard that. So I want to know, is it just Kim getting people out of jail or do we have people behind the scenes who are actually playing the role of hero? Does anybody know?
Wait, what did you just say? You cut out.
We're asking about Kim Kardashian. Do we think Kim is actually getting people out of jail, or is she?
That's a good question. I know nothing about it. I feel like everything she does is just some new, like, she's branding herself. So.
Yeah, maybe.
Hold on, I'm gonna look it up right now.
James says, nah, it's Kim and her team, but yeah, it's her platform that gets in the door. Okay, and I mean, honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that's super dope because at least, listen, she has parlayed these deep throat blowjobs that she was given. She parlayed that into a reality TV career, which she then parlayed that into landing a rapper, and then parlayed that into social justice reform. I'm not mad at that because she's just showing that she has some growth in certain aspects of her life. But obviously, we need to start promoting the people who have been doing the work before her, because we cannot pretend that Kim has just had this obsession since she was a small child to make sure that the black brothers and sisters that she spent all her life hanging out with, were not, improperly incarcerated. Like, I know that has not been a thing of hers. I'm sure as an adult, maybe even as a teen, I know her dad was in law for a very, very long time. So I'm not going to deny her compassion, but we know that with these people specifically, there were already people working on their cases. And then she came in the 11th hour and kind of helped out, which is super dope. But we want to give those people respect. So hopefully we can find their names. I'm a little bit bugged out because you know how iPhone like be uploading like the contact photo and all that shit for you now. So even when people text you from a random number, like there's like a picture that just popped up. Like somebody just texted me somebody else's number. They are not in my contact list, but I'm looking at their face. And it's some strange white people. Now I'm nervous. How'd they get my phone number? Is this my FBI agent? You think this nigga's texting me directly now? Oh my God.
They're following you.
I mean, yeah, they probably are. Steph, thank you for joining. James, thank you for joining. You guys joined late. Shout out to you guys. What were we talking about? So, Steph, we did talk about the video that you sent today. We were riffing on that. You guys will have to go back and watch that. We think that definitely that shit is crazy in New York. Hopefully that is not... Hopefully, I hope that they're not just letting people die without doing a lot about it. I hope a lot of that stuff that girl was saying is not true. But at this point, I think if we were to find out that it was true, can't be too surprised by that. So, Priscilla, we rocked it out tonight. We've literally been burning through. I got one. This is my last two real quick. So I just want a couple of quick little answers from you. So Biden has been endorsed by some high profile people. Do you think that gives him a chance, or are we stuck fondling Don's balls for another 4 years? And I wanted to read that because I wrote that on the agenda and I think that shit is funny. What do you think?
We're going to be ball fondlers for sure.
We're going to be ball fondlers. Yo, I'm dead. The letter told us that we were going to be literally stroking balls for the next 4 years. That's what's going to happen to us. So Joe Biden's endorsements honestly mean nothing. They are from wonderful people who are trying to help us push forward, I would assume. Or maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe these people are garbage too. Fuck, I really don't know. But God, it looks like we're going to be stroking balls for another 4 years. My last one is this. So I heard today that they're saying plasma is something that can help cure COVID-19. Do you want some pedoplasma? If Tom Hanks offers you a pedoplasma cocktail, are you going to drink it?
Hell nah. I don't need no pedophile blood. Did you hear about the Pepsid AC?
Nah.
So they took, I forget the name, it starts with an F of the actual drug that Pepsid AC is. Apparently there's a study in New York going on right now. They're intravenously giving people the same drug as Pepsid AC, and it's actually somewhat working, I guess.
That's lit. That's so just some shit you can buy at the store, right?
Yeah, well, Pepsid AC is completely sold out now in stores because everyone's heard this, and now they're like, well, we'll try like 10 capsules and it'll be the same.
Yeah, fuck, man. You see how stupid people are? They don't even be doing no research. They hear it and they run out and go buy it. Man, just wash your hands, take care of yourselves. It's the same typical stuff. Don't inject yourself with disinfectant. Don't just assume that all of these things, if they worked for someone else, that they will work for you. Because although we come with the same standard parts for the most part, a lot of our bodies operate very differently. It's the same way how when I put sriracha all on my food, it almost makes me want to crap myself. But for some people, they can just do that and they can pour it on there and, in pounds worth of it, they can consume it and they walk away fine. Me, I can't do that. A couple of drizzles and my hole is burning. It is what it is, man. But anyway, we had a great show. Priscilla, thank you for calling in. Everyone in the chat, I love you guys. Thank you for joining. Hope you enjoyed the show. We will be live on Sunday again at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But if you would like to tune in to Starters on the Bench podcast, it's going to be live on Twitch. We talk about sports, books, music, and video games. Tune in. Tomorrow I'll be live at 6 p.m. It's only an hour-long show, but it's really fun. So you guys should check that shit out. Priscilla, you got any last words before I turn this off?
I survived today, man.
Hey, and that's all we can do, survive today. And then hopefully tomorrow. You'll survive tomorrow as well. And the next day, and the next day, and the next day. You're going to be awesome. Keep with it. Let me know how I can support you in your dreams. Thank you for everybody who was tuning in on Track Talk Radio, man. I'm going to turn the stream off as of now. We're off of this. And we are also about to cut this thing off on the YouTube. So it's been real. Hope you guys stay blessed, stay healthy. Join me on Twitch tomorrow at 6 p.m. for Starters on the Bench. That's going to be lit. And then if not, I'll see you back here on Sunday. Priscilla, am I going to see you on Sunday?
Yes.
Maybe. We'll see. She said yes. But
I know, right?
we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. It'll be lit. But either way, we'll be back then, man. It's going to be crazy. So, yeah, that's it. The stream is over right about now.